Howdy all my movie maniacs out there, Mark the Movieman here. Welcome to The Final Cut. And today I've got an independent horror film for you. I know, what? On The Final Cut, an independent horror film? No way! Yeah, way! And let me tell you, it's a special doozy for you today, as it is an anthology horror film called Volumes of Blood Horror Stories. It's brought to us by a collection of very talented independent horror directors, and the basic story of the anthology is you have this house that has a dark past where real nasty things have happened, and we have a realtor who is showing this house to a couple who may buy this, and he is very open and frank about some of the nasty things that have happened in this dwelling, and we see how this all plays out in Volumes of Blood Horror Stories. This film was a blast from start to finish. It takes you on a wild, gory, indie horror ride that I loved. It brought a smile to my face, a gory, bloody smile. Yes, it delivers on the blood, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's talk about these stories they have in here. It starts off not as you quite expect, with this kind of slasher story, which I loved. It hit all of those classic slasher cliches, and you're kind of sitting there going, oh man, but then it takes a turn, and soon we get a story with these two trolls who were being really rude in the theater, and they're just defacing things in the movie theater, and and they give your basic discussion, which is kind of cliche, which we've seen in other indie horror films, where they're talking, two characters are talking back and forth about horror, horror remakes versus the originals and such, and we've seen kind of, this horror knowledge dialogue before, but it was fun, it was entertaining, and I really enjoyed some of the posters in the background as well, including the plank face poster, so giving some representation there, so that was fun to see. And one of the segments was directed by the person who gave us the Confessions of Freddy Krueger, which if you haven't seen already is fantastic, okay? So they even make a little reference in there. We get a story in here about a bathtub that has its own hunger, if you will. We get a brother-sister story that's a little bit different. And then it also involves an insurance salesman who tries to be a good Samaritan, and it ends up biting him in the butt, so to speak. You've got a couple in here, an old couple who are celebrating a birthday, and they always celebrate the birthday of the gentleman in a unique way, a very deadly unique way, and that was a surprising story and probably one of my favorites. There's also a couple cameos in here from some familiar faces on YouTube, which surprised me in a good way. Overall, this is a great collection of indie horror that has a high production value, whole lot of fun, lots of blood. It delivers, the title really delivers on the practical blood in this film. There's very little, if none, CGI blood. It is all practical gore effects, and I loved every bloody minute of it. With creative stories, well-paced, a great collection. I loved how the stories were kind of intertwined with one another, but also could stand on their own feet, and by the end I wanted to watch it all over again because I had that much fun with it. Folks, I can recommend this not only to indie horror fans out there, but just horror fans in general. If you're looking for a good, fun, sincere, well done anthology horror film out there, Volumes of Blood Horror Stories should be on your list. So check it out. If you have checked it out, please leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate your support. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.